Welcome everyone to another episode of the Will and Rock Podcast. Will, what we got going on today?
So today, fresh out the oven, Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier for UFC 226.
Crap! Talk about this coming left field, man.
Yeah.
We knew this. We had anticipated this. This should be the fight. This should be the fight for Daniel Cormier because who else in that division is going to take him on?
Yeah.
And Stipe somewhat cleaned out that division as well. The only person that I feel like he needs a rematch with is Fabricio Verdum. I think Fabricio Verdum that should have been the fight, but I'm totally not against this fight. I love the fact that Cormier is going up weight to fight for heavyweight versus them doing a catch weight and the fight not necessarily meaning anything.
Right. No. They both have the title, so you can't really go ahead and do like a catch weight in the situation because you got to stick to your weight, so it completely makes sense. But I agree with you 100%. Where else does Daniel Cormier go from here? The only fight, if he decides to stay in light heavyweight, is Gustafsson. If not, he should go up and fight Stipe Miocic. They actually made this happen, which is crazy. Stipe Miocic, known as he won three title defense, which broke the record in the UFC. Just to show you for heavyweights, but just to show you, heavyweights, they keep on changing belts left to right, I'm just so looking forward to this fight.
But also think about the longevity for Cormier, because now he has two divisions he could play with.
Yeah.
If he's having a hard time making, which he usually is not, he's great at it because he's a well-established wrestler that he knows how to cut weight without a problem. But he's walking heavyweight.
Right.
So imagine him as a heavyweight. It won't change him much. I don't feel like it's going to change him much. And it's not like Cormier has crazy speed. It's just really he is his power.
Right.
So interesting thing for his career, to be quite honest with you, because then he could decide if he could, and he could manage both of them actually.
Yeah.
They could find a way to manage both of them, which is great.
I agree. So that's happening April 7th in the T-Mobile Arena, UFC 226. And also announced most likely Woodley is going to be, he's targeting actually to fight in the same card, UFC 226.
Yeah, it's great rehab for him because he's been injured for a while.
Right, so his shoulder's starting to heal. He starts to see there's a good progress going, so he wants to go back in the octagon. The question is, who are they going to put in front of him?
So that's a great thing. You know who could fight him? Nate Diaz. You make 226 a namer, put Nate Diaz versus Woodley.
You already are. You are. I agree with you 100%. Put Nate Diaz in there. Could it ruin Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz, the third match? It could probably ruin it. You could beat it out the window. Do you want to see it? I wouldn't mind seeing it, but
I don't mind seeing it. But I'm not gonna sit here and wait for no one. I mean, personally, I'm done with Conor McGregor. He's been sitting. He had to vacate belts because he's been sitting for too long.
Right.
So bring him back into the octagon. And Nate Diaz, called out a specific date that he wants to return. He better keep his word on that as well.
That's a good point. No, I agree with you 100%. So also. Right, Nate Diaz, we were just talking about him fighting Woodley, and that's also because Nate Diaz went on Twitter saying, everybody's scared of me, I want to get back to the octagon, whatever the case it was. He wants to come back to the octagon, and right as he posts that, or tells that to the press, Eddie Alvarez gets to Twitter. And
he didn't say it to the press, that was a tweet he sent out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Once he sends it, he looks at it, he gets right on it, and calls them out. Says, let's, if you're coming back to the octagon, I want to be your first fight back.
Not only did Eddie Alvarez call him out, but also Kevin Lee also called him out. But I don't think Kevin Lee has paid his dues to fight someone like Nate, because that's a lot of money on the line. Because he just came off a loss when he went against Tony Ferguson.
Right.
So what's the biggest question? It becomes, what is the best fight for Nate Diaz?
Right.
What is the best fight? So we mentioned Eddie Alvarez. I think that's a great matchup for him. They're both brawlers. No one's going to go down now unless Eddie Alvarez decides that he wants to take him down. I don't see that going the opposite way. Should he go lightweight? Should he move up to welterweight? I have a feeling that George St. Pierre is going to come back to fight him. But there's so many speculations. There's so many fighters. There's so many fights for someone like Nate Diaz. You know what I mean?
I don't think that.
The George St. Pierre.
Yeah, he's got bigger fish to fry. But
no, they actually talking about that. They mentioned that he's not planning on coming back in the next year or two.
Yeah. He has stomach problems. Really severe stomach problems. Yeah. So we're not gonna see George St. Pierre anytime soon, if we even see him ever coming back. It's that bad. But anyway, so now let's go on to the predictions of UFC on Fox on Fox 27. No, not Fox. UFC on Fox 27 is what it is. Its main fight is Ronaldo Sosa versus Derek Bronson. But before that, let's start from the top and work our way to the bottom. Like every other podcast, the next one we do, somebody's taking shots if you pick the wrong person.
So this is pretty much predictions to UFC on Fox 27?
That's correct, yeah.
All right. Now, what's the first fight? What's the first fight of the main event?
The first fight of the main event is Frank Kamash versus Drew Dober. Again, I have no idea either one of these two fighters. I don't know if this is the first time in the octagon or they fought in some prelim cards that I probably missed.
I don't recall these fighters are.
Yeah.
But you know, these are the cards that people want to see. These are the cards people want to see because when you have names like this who are going into the main event, you want to see those fights. Those are the up and coming fighters who put everything on the line to make a name for themselves. It's totally worth watching.
Absolutely, and you got to remember it's on Fox, so they have to drop a tough card. So these kids need to come out and show what they got.
What's the predictions we have here for this one?
Oh, I'll pick. I don't know, Drew Dober.
I'll pick
Frank Kamash.
Okay. All right, so I got Kamash. I got Frank winning this fight. Next fight.
The next one is Gregor Gillespie.
I think it's Gillespie.
Yeah, versus Jordan Rinaldi. Another fight that I have no idea who these guys are.
Yeah, these are, once again, some of these fighters are up and coming, especially when you put up a free event on Fox. Or FS1, whatever they do it. This is one of those. They always put fights like this where it's just up and coming guys. I'm not familiar with either or though.
No.
So who's the fighters? I'll choose this one.
I'll pick.
No.
What?
I gotta pick. You just picked the last fight. Okay. I'll pick this fight. What's the names?
Gregor Gillespie.
I got Gillespie.
So then I got Jordan Rinaldi.
All right. Next
fight. We got Dennis Bermudez versus Andre Fili. This is going to be a banger. There've been so much things said about Dennis Bermudez. He could be a champion if he sticks to what he's been doing as of late. Because of that, I'm going to go with Dennis Bermudez.
Just to contradict you, I'm gonna go with Philippi.
All right.
No reason. I think Bermudez is gonna has the upper hand. Is the bigger name coming into this fight. But just to go against you, I'm going Philippi on this one.
Phil. It's Andre Phil. No.
Oh, Phil?
Yeah, Phil. And the last one is Jacare versus Derek Bronson.
Jacare Sosa versus Derek Bronson.
I think Jacare is one of the greatest fighters in his weight class. I don't see.
I'm picking this fight, by the way. I'm picking this main event.
Okay, yeah. Oh, you win. You. Okay, what is it?
Let's not switch it up, bro. I got Sosa winning this fight. You would just maybe I might finish the sentence that you were about to say, but I don't see nobody beating Sosa when he's 100%.
Yeah.
He wasn't 100% for the Williker fight, which is why he lost that fight. But I will tell you, him at 100%, he is a force to be reckoned with. And to top it off, the scary part about Sosa is that he has a ground game that is close to none. But most importantly, he's been working on his stand-up game, and he's throwing some punches that people don't see coming because he's a grappler.
Yeah. With that being said, this is the second time they fought before in Strikeforce, if I'm not mistaken. And Jacare knocked him out in the first round with like 40 seconds to go.
It was also a different Bronson at the time.
It was a different Derek Bronson. I agree with you. I think Derek Bronson has great hands, but I don't see them standing up too long. I think Jacare is going to take him down and it's going to submit him in the first or second round. So with that being said, I also have Jacare. It's kind of impossible not to pick him.
I'm
not even gonna contradict you. So
it's all good.
But yeah, that's a wrap. Next week we'll take some shots.
Yeah.
Somebody's taking shots for sure. Anyways, don't forget to follow us on YouTube, the Will and Rock Podcast, on Instagram on the Will and Rock Podcast, and leave comments. You have questions, Anyways, peace.
Peace, guys. Have a good one.